Hi there, this is Mark Ittleman, speech-language pathologist, and welcome. Welcome to the teaching of talking. And I hope you're having a great day today, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon or the evening when you're listening to this. You know, the name of this video is about why conversation is definitely preferred over exercises. You know, the last video I did was on exercises. And, you know, when I think about exercises, I think about doing something within very strong confines and doing it over and over and over again. And quite often it's not natural, especially if you're dealing with talking. So if we're dealing with talking, one of the things that a speech pathologist does, and should be teaching a caregiver, is to figure out first how many words should the person with aphasia be speaking at one time. All right, that's the first, one of the first most important aspects. Now with some it may be only one word. Maybe they're completely nonverbal. And if they're completely nonverbal, then you have to work on single words. Now, we believe very strongly that you can cue a person who's got aphasia with single words, and you can have a conversation with them. Okay? Now, a conversation is usually relaxing. And the conversation is interactive. Whereas doing exercises is not. It's not anything usually about an interaction between two people. It's just basically a task that you have to do. Now, one of the things about conversation is that it's typically more relaxing, and that it's interactive, and it's automatic. And it's what talking is. So why wouldn't one work with actual talking and stimulating the person with aphasia to talk within an interaction? In other words, if talking is an interaction between two people, all right? So why wouldn't we want to use the way that we interact and speak within our form of therapy? I mean, it just is only common sense. I mean, why would one want to do worksheets or flashcards or naming things out of a box? That doesn't deal with interaction. It doesn't deal with conversation. And usually conversation, especially if you're talking about something that the other person is interested in, is something that's enjoyable. And to tell you the truth, for a lot of people working on worksheets and a lot of these other interactions that have no bearing, and they're not alike conversation at all. They're not alike talking. They're so totally different. Okay, and that's where I think we as a profession went wrong, that for decades and decades and decades, they've been doing these same old exercises that I was trained on. You know, when I see these therapists today, 45 years later, and they're still doing the techniques and the exercises that I was taught, man, I'm thinking, gosh, what's the matter with our training institutions? Now, many of our training institutions are doing wonderful things these days, but there are still many that are in the Stone Age when it comes to working on speech. Now, speech therapy should be a very enjoyable aspect of rehabilitation, and quite often it's not. And quite often it's not because the therapy isn't involved, and the therapy is very sterile. there's not much of an interaction, and interaction requires rapport. That means let's get to know one another. Let's get to be friends. Let's talk, since we're going to be friends. Where are you from? Well, New Jersey. Yeah, what was your father's name? William. You have any brothers and sisters? Yes. How many brothers? 2? Yes, 2. You see, you can talk about so many things. You can talk about, gosh, and if you have a caregiver in the room who knows the answers to all of those questions, then both of you can be asking questions that are non-threatening, they're not confrontational, and they're very interactive and fun and interesting. So that's a little bit of the difference between a conversational approach to speech therapy and one that deals with outmoded, tired techniques that people have been doing for decades, and the fact that many of those exercises just don't work. And they if you think about them with common sense, most people who contact me say, "Hey, Mark, I saw your video and it makes so much sense." That's what I hear over and over again. "Hey, Mark, it makes so much sense. It really makes sense to me." Well, I would think so, okay? And this also is related to common sense. Common sense is that if you have trouble talking, then you place that person in a situation and help them talk. And if talking is an interaction between 2 people, you help them talk and interact in a conversation of 2 people. Them and you, or them, the therapist, and the caregiver. And then everybody learns the method, and everybody does the method, and then it's used at home all the time, and the person gets surprisingly better. This is Mark Idelman, speech-language pathologist. We've been talking about conversation versus the traditional old, worn-out methods of aphasia therapy. And I hope this has been a helpful and intuitive and instructive method that helps you understand why a conversational approach to speech therapy is definitely preferred. Okay? Now, underneath the video here is a brief description of it, and down at the bottom of the description is our new website address at teachingoftalking.com, and we invite you to come by and look over the website. Man, we've got a ton of videos in there. I'm putting up I'm putting up a lot of videos and a lot of blogs about common sense approaches to aphasia. So make sure you sign up. And if you're a caregiver or even a therapist and you want some personal mentoring, then down in the website, down at the bottom of each page, is something that says survey and questionnaire. Fill that out if you'd like to have a conversation with me about how I can help you with your loved one. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye now. Have a great day today. And remember, talking is a conversation. It's not reading word lists. It's not confrontationally naming objects. It's about getting to know one another and helping the person with aphasia say words and word combinations and phrases and sentences. So have a great day today. Don't forget, underneath the video, check it out. Come to teachingoftalking.com and become a member of the Teaching of Talking family. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon, I hope. Bye-bye now.